Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. I'm so excited for this one because, as you can see, we're talking about Canva, and that is one of our favorite topics to talk about. And not only Canva, we're going to talk about how to be organized, which is so important, especially for all of the social media managers out there. I'm sure you have so much content in your Canva accounts. So we're very excited to chat about this. And we have Brenda, who's an expert with all of this, who's here with us. So we're very excited. And you guys already know what I'm going to ask because I can see you all sharing with me already, and I love it. Share where you're joining from. So I see we have people from Calgary, Myrtle Beach, London, New Brunswick, Iowa. I love it. I love to see where everyone is joining from. And Brenda is a fellow Canadian. She's joining from PEI, which is very cool. Is anyone else here joining from PEI? Let us know.
Oh, it's rare that happens, but
yeah, true. You never know. I did see some New Brunswick and St. John's, so we'll see. We'll see. Love it. Oh, Cassandra says she loves PEI. Love that.
Pretty beautiful place.
It really is. It really is.
Awesome. I still see it through the eyes of a visitor having moved here from the West Coast 6 years ago. So
it is very pretty. I went there when I was a kid, and I need to go back because I just remember the beaches being really pretty in the sand.
The beaches are beautiful. Yeah. Yes. And the water is actually warm in the summer, which is coming from Vancouver where the beach water is not warm.
That is true.
It was a nice change.
I love that. Yeah, I need to get back there ASAP. But thank you everyone for joining and writing where you're joining from. I am going to hop into a few housekeeping items quickly, and then we'll get into all of the amazing Canva content. So we will dive right in. So just in case you found this webinar somewhere, maybe someone sent it to you, you saw it on LinkedIn. We are HeyOrca, so we're a social media scheduler for teams and agencies, so we can help you out with all your scheduling for social. And my favorite part is that we have unlimited users, which is great when you have, a big team of people. You can all be on there. You don't have to fight for it to see who is going to get access to the account. So you can all be on it, which is amazing. So just in case you didn't know who we are, that is who we are. And I actually have something to show you guys really quick. If you have been in some of our webinars recently or on our newsletter list, you know that we're having our very first in-person event. We're very excited about it. It's happening on May 8th in Toronto, and tickets actually just went on sale, and we're very excited about it. So we will send the website on through the chat where you can buy tickets, but I just thought I'd quickly show you. We have chosen some of our speakers already. So as you can see, they are listed here, and the topics they're going to talk about, which there are so many amazing ones. So you can take a look at all of that. There's Lyle, shout out Lyle, there's Jesse. And then we have some venue information there as well. So if you want to check that out and see if you would like to come, which we really hope you can, Jesse put the link in the chat there. So we are so excited. But I will get the slides back up here. Yay, I see people are excited. Hello, Ella. I'm excited that you're excited. Perfect. All right. So now we'll get into our giveaway. And as you know, if you've been to our webinars before, we love to do giveaways. So there's 2 different ways you can win an Amazon gift card today. So the first way is super easy. We currently have a poll question on our LinkedIn account. And the question is, do you feel that your Canva account is organized? We want to know. So go vote on our LinkedIn poll, and you are automatically entered into the giveaway. So I'll be randomly selecting somebody tomorrow. And then the second way to win, you actually have until Tuesday for this one. Share on LinkedIn what you learned in this webinar. Maybe there's a certain tip that blew your mind and you had no idea existed, share it on LinkedIn, tag HeyOrca, tag Brenda, let us know what you learned, and then I will be selecting someone on Tuesday as the winner. So 2 different ways to win there, and Jess has just put the poll link in the chat. So all you have to do is click that poll, go vote. Let us know how organized your Canva account is. And then we'll do some intros. So my name is Alyssa, and I'm a community strategist here at HeyOrca. So I work on our webinars, our newsletter, Facebook groups. I'll be at the HeyOrca Community Summit if you want to chat. But I will now pass it over to Brenda.
And I am going to attempt to share my screen. And you're going to let me know. Window. There we go. There we go. I am used to Zoom, so.
You're good. I see your slides.
Perfect. Okay. And there we go. I think we're up and running now. Excellent. And I'm getting a little note here that says, of course, suddenly that network is unstable. So hopefully this works fine. Let me know if we have any issues and I need to pause, and we will figure it out, because
that happens to me sometimes. Big Marker does that to me sometimes, and usually it's a false alarm. So you're probably good.
Excellent. All right. Well, by way of a quick introduction, my name is Brenda Cadman. I do live in Charlottetown on beautiful Prince Edward Island, and I know that HeyOrca was founded in Newfoundland, so we're pretty much neighboring provinces. I have been an entrepreneur for over 25 years now. I just celebrated 25 years in January, and the majority of that time was spent running a website development agency. But it was September 2022 that I decided I was going to it's time to let it go. I decided I'd retire that agency so I could just focus basically all of my time on my role as a Canva expert and educator. So to that end, I am currently one of a small group of Canva verified experts in the world. I believe there's only 46 of us worldwide currently. And in addition to being a Canva verified expert, I'm also a former professional organizer. And I specialized in organizing paper and creating filing systems. So Canva organization really is my sweet spot. So I hope you're as excited about organization as I am. Very few people are. But I know that if you're here, if you're watching this training, it's likely because you are struggling to some degree with the level of organization in your own Canva account, or maybe you do already feel reasonably organized, but you're just always looking for ways to tidy things up a little bit. So with that,
we actually had a quick question. How do you become a verified Canva expert?
You have to wait for Canva to ask you.
Oh, nice.
I wish, there's not an application process. Canva's community managers, their team members they're always keeping an eye out for people who are creating education, and it might be on YouTube, it might be on social media. I do a lot of trainings, I do a lot of course creation. They're keeping their eyes and their ears open, and then I guess when they feel like somebody is a particularly good fit, they extend an invitation. And I was also involved in their previous experts program, which was their Canva certified creatives. So when they decided to launch this new program and retire the old one, they really downsized it dramatically. But I was one of the first 25 when they launched the program. So awesome. Even if this program grows to like 200 experts, I will always be one of the first 25. You can't take that away. But yeah, it's put out good content basically, and just, hope for the best.
Very cool.
So as far as organization goes, the reality with Canva is that if you don't create some sort of organizational structure, what's really quickly going to happen is you're going to start creating designs, and it's going to feel very manageable at first to just scroll to find the design that you're looking for. But you inevitably, you're going to reach a point where you have so many designs that scrolling and searching just really becomes very cumbersome, and you can't find what you're looking for quickly. You're going to feel really overwhelmed. I suspect a lot of you are already in that boat, particularly if you're creating social media content for a lot of clients. But if you are fairly new to Canva, you may not have a lot of content that needs organization yet, but it really is a great time to set up your system before you get to that point of feeling too overwhelmed. But on the flip side, on the opposite side, if you are already kind of a power user and a veteran user of the program, if you're feeling like it's already out of control, I promise you can get things back on track. It takes a little time, but you can get things back on track. It is never too late. So here's the goal for today. I want to meet you where you're at in your own experience using Canva's organization features. Some of what I talk about today, you may be already comfortable with. For others, it may be brand new, but I'm hoping that you will walk away with at least one, hopefully more, but at least one more tip or idea that you can implement right away in your Canva account in order to get more organized. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to attempt to cover a lot of ground in a not very long period of time. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to talk about what Canva Projects is and why you should be using projects to access your designs, not your home screen. And we'll do a really quick review of how to navigate that projects area. And then I want to talk about a couple of organization basics. We're going to talk about how to create custom folders and subfolders and how to bulk edit in Canva for better organization. Then we're going to talk about some of the ways you can approach organizing your image uploads. And I saw the questions that were submitted in advance, and this is usually the case in any of the trainings that I do. Uploads is where you folks are struggling the most. I've heard it from everybody. So we're going to really focus on, those of you who have a ton of unorganized image in that uploads folder. And I'm going to give you some direction on what to do with that. And then if we still have time, I'm going to take you through a basic framework for tackling your Canva account if it's already a bit of a hot mess, so that you can create an organization system. And then finally, I'm hoping we can leave a little bit of time for some Q&A at the end. We'll see where we get to with that. Okay, so getting organized in Canva, it's not just about having things look tidy. It's about making your life easier, your work more efficient. And like I said, it does take a little bit of time to set it up, but I promise the benefits make it more than worth it. You're going to be able to stop wasting time hunting for your designs, your images, your templates. That's going to let you focus on creating content and working on the tasks that really do move your business forward. You are going to feel a reduction in your stress and your frustration when you're working in Canva to create content. I want you to get to the point where it's just really easy for you to find and reuse past designs without that endless scrolling that you might be finding yourself doing now. And when your Canva account is organized, your team is going to be able to quickly find what they need as well. That's going to let you get projects completed faster. Canva disorganization, while it doesn't necessarily have a price tag clearly attached to it, it does have a real cost. But when you take a little bit of time to set up a system, you're going to be able to create your content faster. It's going to be much less hassle, and it's just going to be a much smoother workflow. So I'm hoping that you feel the same way when we're done today. So we're going to jump straight into the how-tos. The first thing I want to highlight is that for effective organization in Canva, do not work from the home screen. Anytime I do a Canva training and we talk about organization, there is inevitably a question about how can I organize that home screen so it feels less overwhelming? And I'm sorry to tell you the answer is that you can't. Unfortunately, there is no way for you to currently impose any sort of organization or reorder the content on Canva's home screen. And that is why I want you to get used to coming down to this project section. You can, if it works for you, bookmark this page instead of canva.com, or you'll find also just over time that you kind of develop a bit of muscle memory to just go directly to the projects area, because you have complete control over creating folders, over bulk organizing your designs and your images in this projects section of your Canva account. You do not have the same capability on your Canva homepage. You're not missing some feature that's just hidden. There's nothing you can do on the homepage. I can assure you, Canva has been told many, many times that needs to change. I hope it's in their pipeline to do that. I don't have any intel on that, unfortunately, but at this time you can't. So basically all it is right now, though, is just going to be a list of all the designs you've worked in with the most recently edited at the top. If you're looking for the last design or two that you worked in, it may be a quick way to get there. But if you're searching for something specific, it's good habit. Get used to going to projects.
And does it, going to projects like you do on desktop, is that the same in the app?
The mobile app or the app version of a desktop app?
I will see. Let us know, Jen, if it's the mobile app or the desktop app.
I can just sort of answer it. The mobile app, I don't use the mobile app very much because I find it cumbersome, and the layout we're going to be looking at today is the desktop layout, because you kind of have full access to really get around and take advantage of the full organization features. So if you're organizing your account, you're going to want to do it on desktop, but the layout itself should be the same, whether it's the browser version or the desktop app.
Cool.
So inside of projects, you used to have two default folders that Canva automatically added. You had the starred folder and you had uploads. And what you'll see now is that there's only the uploads default folder. If you are wondering where the hell starred went, because I have had so many people ask this question to the point that I created a very popular YouTube video about it. It now lives inside of the templates library. So if you've been wondering where that went to, just go to the templates library. You'll find your starred content is there. All your content should still be in it. But it's just kind of, they're reorganizing some things. I know there's some other big changes coming potentially in terms of layout, and not layout so much, but just how you interact with your Canva account. So I think that's kind of why they're moving a few things around, but that's where it lives now. So now you just have that default uploads folder. And you can also create your own custom folders and subfolders on this page, though. And that's really the foundation of creating an effective filing cabinet for your Canva designs. So if you've never done it before, I anticipate most of you probably have, so we're going to whip through this part fairly quickly. But if anybody wants to have me actually show how to do this in real time, if we have time in the Q&A, I can hop into my account and walk through it. But if you're in the projects area, if you want to create a custom folder, you're going to see an add new button in the top right corner of your projects page. And then when you click on that, you're going to have the option to add a folder. So you're just going to give your folder a name. You're going to click on continue, and that's going to create it. And then you're going to see that the new folder gets added to the top level of your projects section. But to have a really effective folder filing system in Canva, you really have to take advantage of subfolders. You do not want to be creating just tons and tons of top level folders, because then you're just going to be scrolling folders instead of files. So I want you to be creating folders inside of those primary folders. And to create a subfolder, it's just the same process, but instead of doing it at the top level, you're going to do it inside of one of your existing folders. So step one is going to be open that folder where you want that subfolder to live. And then you're again going to click on add new in the top right. You're going to choose to add a folder again. You're going to give it a name again and click on continue. And then you can just continue to create folders inside of folders as much as you need to. You can create an unlimited number of folders. The only limitation to be aware of is that you can only nest 10 levels deep. You try to go more than that, you're going to find it won't give you the option to add any more folders, but 10 levels should be sufficient for most people. And it used to be that you could only create 2 custom folders if you were on the free plan. I suspect most of the folks watching this, you're probably on Canva Pro or Canva Team, so this is a non-issue. But that limitation has not existed for quite some time. I think Canva realized that having that 2 folder limit just was making it really difficult for people to use Canva effectively and efficiently. So they got rid of that. It's been gone for at least a couple of years, if not longer. But a lot of folks don't know that. So unlimited folders, 10 levels deep, and that should be sufficient for most people. And then once you have custom folders set up, you can select and move or select and delete multiple files at a time. So if you've ever hovered over a Canva design or image, you'll have noticed that a little checkbox appears. And when you select multiple designs or images by checking off of those checkboxes, or if you click and drag, you can select multiple files at the same time. Once you've selected all those files, what you're going to see is that there's this little folder icon that appears in the bottom middle of the page. You're going to be a little folder icon and a little trash icon. And when you hover over that little folder icon, it's going to say move to folder. And when you click on that folder icon, you're going to have the ability to choose which folder you want to move your selected files to. So when I'm doing this, if I'm working on a client's account to organize it, and I might select 100 files potentially if they're all going into the same place. If I know all of these are client files and they're going to be moving into a single client folder, I'm going to select a whole whack of them. And then I'm going to arrange to move all of them out of that main projects area in one fell swoop. So you can either find your folder through recent. That's going to show you the folders that you've most recently accessed or most recently created. So that can be a really quick way to find them. Or you can browse through all of your project folders, or you can search for a folder by name. And then select it, select the destination folder, and then you're just going to choose to move all of those. And you can do designs, videos, and images. You don't just have to select designs, and we will be talking about images a little bit more coming up because I know that's what a lot of you are here for. So that's the basics of the mechanics, but that's not where most people get stuck. Where most Canva users get stuck is not on how to create folders, but really more what folders to create in order to organize content. And the reality is there isn't a one size fits all approach. The way you structure your own Canva account is going to depend on the kind of content you're creating. It's going to depend on, you know, your industry. It's going to depend on how you naturally look for your files, and everybody's a little bit different. Like I said, there's no one size fits all. But that said, there are a few folders that off the top of my head that I think most small business owners would benefit from. So obviously a social media folder is a pretty much a must-have for every small business owner, regardless of what industry you're in. You don't have to be a social media manager to need a place to host or organize your social media content. And you're going to need that folder whether you break your subfolders down by platform or content type or campaign. I personally break my social media folder down into platforms. So I have one for Instagram, one for Pinterest, one for YouTube, etc. And then there's subfolders within each of those. And I know a lot of you, potentially all of you, or probably most of you, are social media managers. So you're going to have your own methods of breaking down your social media folder content. But you will probably instinctively know what those subfolders are. Like, where would I go looking for this? And then just follow your gut on that. And if you find it's not working, you can always change it. An archive folder is another handy one that gives you a place to store older completed designs that you don't need to see every day, but you're just not ready to delete. And if you use Canva for both business and personal projects, a personal folder can help keep everything kind of separate. So we'll see my own account a little bit later, a little preview of it though. Beyond those kind of basics of folders that most people should have, your folders are going to really have to reflect the key areas of your business. So for example, as an online business owner who offers both courses and services, I have folders like brand assets, courses, digital products. I have freebies, presentations, services, and that helps me keep all of my content neatly categorized the way that works for me. Yours is going to look a little bit different, or for some of you, these same folder topics might work for you as well. And then we're going to talk about those photos, that photos folder a little bit later. There's also a templates folder there that I use to hold any templates that I'm working on customizing. And we're not going to get into brand templates today unless there's maybe a time for a question at the end, but I like to have a templates folder as well. Like I said, depends on what you do. You might also have folders for marketing and ads. You might have one for events and workshops. You might have one for internal documents if you're using it to create proposals or onboarding guides and things like that. The most important thing is that you create a structure that fits how you work and the kinds of content that you're creating. And then each of those folders is going to be broken down into subfolders as needed. So my presentations, they're broken down by year. And as I said, my social media is broken down by platform. So let's talk about images. And I have a photos folder, which is where I house all of this. Because you can create custom folders to organize all of your uploads into categories to make it easier to find what you're looking for. But as you've probably noticed, you cannot currently impose any sort of organization within the uploads folder. So if you have ever found yourself scrolling endlessly through an uploads folder in Canva, you're not alone. It's just really easy to bulk dump your stock photos and your other, event photos and other things into it. And then when it comes time to actually find that right image, things get real frustrating real fast. And a lot of people don't realize that you do not have to store all of your images in the uploads folder. They kind of default to assuming that that's where your uploaded images have to go because it's called uploads and they don't give it a second thought. But I would strongly recommend against relying on the uploads folder because it does become this bottomless pit of images that just makes it practically impossible to find what you're looking for over time. And I know the chaos that so many of you have. I would hazard a guess, and maybe I don't have access to the chat, but I'm going to invite you to share if you have ever found yourself re-uploading the same image multiple times because you cannot find it from the other half dozen times you've previously uploaded it. And that's why creating a really, yeah.
I've done that many times, and there's a lot of people in the chat
yes.
who have also.
It's a very, very common thing. I have worked on organization projects where I will see not only the same image multiple times, I will see the same set of brand photos multiple times. And that makes it really difficult to find what you're looking for if it's just tons and tons of stuff. So I want you to do this a better way. We want to create a simple, structured system for organizing your upload images and your videos. And it's going to be a huge time saver. I want you to avoid that bottomless pit altogether. So let's talk about how we do that. What I like to suggest as a starting point is creating a photos folder. And then from there, you can break it down into subfolders by source. So let's say, for me, I'm primarily using stock photos. You might break photos down into stock photos, and then maybe you have one for event photos, or maybe you have product photos. Again, it's going to depend on the kind of content that you have, but using just stock photos as an example, I like to break it down by source because I have photos from multiple sites. So for example, 3 of the folders in my stock photo folder, I've got one for Pixie Stock, one for Hot Stock, and one for Styled Stock House. And then once you've done that, you have a couple of different ways to organize within that folder. Again, it's going to depend on how you search for and use images. You could break your images down by image type and niche. So maybe you have a folder for backgrounds, one for flat lays, one for mockups, one for tech mockups. Or if you prefer to browse by niche, you might have folders for business or lifestyle or podcasting or holiday. Or maybe you like to organize by color and then drop your stock images into the folders that match their dominant tones. So that could make it really easy to pull together cohesive designs that align with your brand's color palette without having to sift through a ton of unrelated images. Or let's get fancy and maybe we have a combination. Maybe your stock folder is broken into niche and then into color underneath that. There's no, like I've said it a lot, but it really is true. There's no one size fits all solution. There's no wrong way to do this. The only wrong way is if you're feeling a lot of friction when you're trying to locate the image that you're looking for. I want you to follow your gut, because if you find yourself looking for something in particular in a specific folder and you haven't put it there, you probably need to move it there. So follow your intuition and you can change. And it's going to take a little bit of time initially to figure out what the system is that works for you. But eventually you're going to find that it just becomes really, really easy to find it. So if you're wondering, okay, great, but I usually go to uploads in the editor to find my images. Where the heck am I looking for it now? What you're going to do is, instead of going to the upload section, you're going to go to that projects area that you can access in the design editor. And then you're just going to look for the folder called photos or whatever you've called it. And you're going to drill down until you find the specific image that you're looking for. And if anybody would like to see the process of what that looks like, maybe Alyssa, we can make a note of that and I can just do a super quick example during the Q&A. So, all right, we're going to move on to a quick overview of a framework that you can use to actually get started, because you've got all these bits and pieces, all these different tips, but how do we actually have a little bit of a system of what are the steps to take to start tackling your probably hot mess of a Canva account? So I'm going to walk you through 5 steps. Once you're comfortable with the organizing process, you're likely going to find that you can do more than one step concurrently, but I would recommend breaking it down into steps when you're just new to the process. First step is going to be focused on deleting and archiving your unneeded Canva designs and images. So I talked about the fact that I used to be a professional organizer, and I did this with physical paper and in physical offices. And if I was organizing piles of paper in an office or filing cabinet, we're always going to start by disposing of the papers that you no longer need, because there's no point in creating files and trying to file stuff that is essentially garbage. And the same deleting process is going to apply to your digital content, including your Canva designs. So you may have copies of templates that you never ended up using. You probably have duplicates of designs that you thought you were going to need and you didn't. You very likely have designs that are super duper outdated that make you cringe when you look at them. You know you're never going to need them. If you want to keep them for nostalgia purposes, move them into the archive folder. Otherwise, out they go. And like I said, for those of you who are afraid to let go of designs, if you think you might need something in the future, if you have any hesitation or a little doubt, if what's keeping you from getting rid of content and clearing things out is the concern that you might need it, create that archive folder that I talked about, and then move all of those, but what if I need it down the road kind of designs into that folder. If you have not needed to access those archive designs in the next year or so, chances are you're going to feel safer doing a purge of them down the road. So step 2 is going to be reviewing what's left once you've deleted and archived. And I want you to update your naming conventions. If you are like most Canva users, you probably have a lot of designs named things like copy of template XYZ, or you have design version 2, or you have something that's really generically named, like Instagram post, because you meant to go back and label it with the campaign name, but you never did. So now it just says Instagram post and there's no further description on it. And it just makes it really hard to find what you're looking for later. So it's really important to name your files in a descriptive manner. So not only can you search for them more easily using the search bar, you can also tell really easily at a glance what all of your designs are from the outside, because if you're creating multiple sizes of things or you're using the same design in multiple kinds of contexts, that thumbnail can look pretty darn similar across different designs. And I don't want you wasting time opening multiple things trying to find that one specific version that you're looking for. Name them properly, and you're going to be able to avoid that. And like I said, once you're comfortable using the organization features in Canva, you're probably going to be able to do more than one step at the same time. So for example, if I'm working through an account to delete and archive content, I'm probably simultaneously renaming them at the same time. So third step, you're going to plan and create those folders. Hopefully you got a little bit of inspiration today about what that could look like. I want you can try writing down a list of the categories and subcategories, do a little bit of a brain dump about the kinds of content that you're creating, and try to figure out what those top level categories are and what those subcategories might be underneath them to organize your designs, your images, and your video. Like I said, there's no wrong answer here. Figure out what works for you. Some of you are only going to need a small handful of folders. Others are going to need a really robust filing system. So let's go back to my own Canva account again. It's broken down into multiple folders, and then those primary folders are further broken down into subfolders as needed. I really do recommend limiting the number of top level folders that you have to what you can see at a glance. For me, actually for most people, it's around 12 to 13. You don't want to have to start scrolling, but I find 12 to 13, and I think I have 12. I find that number kind of strikes a balance. It's manageable and it avoids decision fatigue, but it still gives you enough categories to cover all of your content. If you have too many folders, you're going to start feeling overwhelmed again. You're going to have too many choices again. And the whole point of organizing is to make things simpler, not more complicated. But on the flip side, if you have too few of them, you might find that those folder names are overly general and vague, and that's going to slow you down because you're going to have to stop and figure out which folder did I put that in. So I want you to, I find like 12 to 13 is that sweet spot. And like I said, if you find yourself hesitating over where to put away a design or image, that friction is probably a sign that your folder structure might need to be reevaluated. So pay attention to where you naturally go looking for your file, and your folder structure should align with your intuition. So once you have your initial list of folders, you can actually start creating those custom folders. You can start creating those subfolders to start building your own filing cabinet, or if it makes more sense for you to create your folders as you go through that category creation process, that's good too. Do whatever feels natural. Step 4, once you've got your folder set up, everything has a home, you can use that bulk organizing technique I talked about selecting multiple files at a time in order to start moving all of your files into their new homes. And then your final step is going to be to maintain your organization. Once you get through those first 4 steps, your system should be in pretty good shape, but even the best system is going to fall apart if you don't stay on top of it. So I think it can be helpful. If you are not naturally inclined to put things away immediately after you create new content, for some people, they get into that habit and it keeps it always clean and they like that feeling and they can easily maintain it. If that's not you, that's okay. I would suggest creating a recurring task on your calendar or your project management tool of choice to just do that Canva organization on a weekly basis or bi-weekly or even a monthly basis if you're not creating a lot of content. But I think most of the folks here are probably creating content fairly often. So a standing weekly appointment to get caught up on that housekeeping, that could be really effective. And then I'd also recommend a periodic deep clean of your Canva account so you can review the contents of your folders again. You can delete and archive again as needed. That doesn't have to be done very often, but you do want to have that opportunity to reassess if your folder system is still working for you. Okay, so I'm flying through those steps fairly quickly. If you want to tackle your own Canva clutter, I do have a free resource you can grab. It's my Canva organization roadmap. It's just a quick 5-minute training. It's going to walk you through that same framework we just talked about, but it's also going to give you a worksheet to help you stay on top of the tasks needed to kickstart your own organization process. If you're looking for something a little more in depth, I do have a Canva organization course, Clean Up My Canva. It's step-by-step. It's going to help you create a system that actually works for your needs as opposed to being one of these tutorials out there that says, these are the 5 folders you need to have. No, not necessarily. And there's 5 modules in there. It's going to walk you through organization basics, organizing designs, organizing your media, organizing your templates, and then how to maintain your Canva organization. And then you're just going to find it so much easier to find what you're looking for. It's going to save time. You're going to reduce frustration. And you're going to feel more creative because you're not working in chaos anymore. And then finally, if you want to get in touch with me, these are the various places you can find me. Don't judge my Instagram count, please. I'm in the process of working on a static 9 grid because I'm not in there social media is not my superpower. But YouTube, I'm a very frequent creator on. So definitely if you like Canva tips, not just organization tips, go check out YouTube. And with that, we have time for 2 questions.
Okay, so we do have a few questions. One thing is, and there is some links in the chat to find Brenda's website and all of that, so you can check out all those amazing resources. So I thought we could answer a few questions, and then I think it would be awesome if you could show that photo process. A few people would love to see that in action.
Absolutely. I am going to, in fact, let's reshare here, and I'm going to find my actual Canva account if it wants to cooperate with me. Bear with me, projects, what is happening here? Screen sharing has been disabled. Oh, what is going on here? Share screen. There we go. Okay. Can you see my Canva account now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Kevin. Whew. All right. So you can see my projects page and you can see how there's nothing on here except folders.
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. So as far as they wanted to see where to access the images inside the editor, is that was the case?
Yes. Okay. That'd be perfect.
So I am just going to open up a quick example image design here. What you're looking for is, you're probably accustomed to going to uploads here, and what you'll see is when mine uploads or loads here, I have Zippo in there, nothing. And instead, if I'm looking for an image, I'm going to my projects. It's a little slow loading today, but I'm going to folders. I'm going to go to my photos, style stuff. Let's say I'm looking for, there's a green and gold notebook photo that I have. Boom, done. So that's where you want to look for it. And if you have a system that's broken down by category, you're going to be able to find more easily what you're looking for.
Oh, I think it looks like it was frozen for a few people.
No. Oh no. Okay. Hold on. Let's try this again. Let's say share this tab instead.
Oh, I can.
Oh, I think.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to stop sharing. We're going to try sharing a window again because big marker is fun.
Yeah. It always has to have something.
Okay, I am going to close out of here and let's try this. Okay, can you see that is over here? Apologies, folks, there's so many windows over here. So can you see the default? I'm going to work off of this screen instead. Can you see it now where? Okay, so instead of going to uploads here, you can see there's nothing there. Yeah. What you want to do is you want to go to your projects tab. You're going to go to folders. You're going to find your images folder, whatever it's called. And then I'm going to just drill down and find that gold and green photo that I'm looking for. And I'm going to click on it. There we go. And this has frozen on me. Delightful.
That looks so much more organized than my account. Seeing how all the different folders, it's so nice.
Yeah, and for some reason, it has actually frozen on me here. There we go. It's see, this right here is why we use slides when we do presentations.
But we saw the majority of it, so it's perfect.
There we go. All right, I will pull that open. In the meantime, I will take other questions while I get that opened up again.
Perfect. And then for those folders, you would upload your photos directly into that folder to begin with.
Correct.
Okay. Cool.
Yes. If you have moved them into uploads, it's not a big deal, but it's just an extra step that you're going to be having to do, because now you're going to have to select them all and you're going to have to move them over a second time. So you might as well just upload them directly, and you can select them on your computer and drag them all in one batch over. You don't have to do them individually, and you don't have to click on the upload button. You can just drag them directly from your computer.
Okay, cool. And I have a few questions here, and I know we have like 4 minutes left, so we'll get to as many as we can. But so the tabs you have on the side of this screen here where it says design, elements, text, is there a way to put them in a different order, or do they have to be in the order as they show?
Yeah, no, they have to be in that order. At this time, there's no way to manually reorder those. But what I would recommend is make sure you stay on top. If you have a lot of custom folders that have gotten opened up here, you might find that you've got tons of stuff opened up down here where you're having to scroll and scroll. If you stay on top of that as well, like if I highlight over this, I can exit out entirely. Okay. Then it just makes it a lot more manageable, so that even though you can't move these around, you'll know that your custom ones are always here and you can still find them.
Okay, cool. That's perfect. And then another question was, how do you color code your folders?
That is the very popular question that I get. Hang on, let me go back to it. Let's go back to projects here, and I'm just gonna sort back to my folders. Okay, so there is no like native functionality to do this. It is just a matter of understanding how Canva pulls the image that they're going to put on the design or on the folder. If there's only one image, so for example, if I go to courses, you'll see there's subfolders and there's only one image. If there's only one image here, it's going to pull that image. But if you have multiple images, if you have multiple designs, it's going to be kind of haphazard and random about what it chooses. Obviously, you have to actually have a place to put your images and your designs at some point. You cannot just perpetually have subfolders. So it's really a bit of a hack, a little workaround. You're only going to be able to customize it at this top level, because all of these folders have subfolders in them, which is why I can control what image it's pulling on them. But it's just it's a way to make it pretty. I like to have a little bit of my branding in there. It just feels like a nicer environment to do creative work in, but you're only really going to be able to do it at the top level. Okay. I hope that's a feature they add, though. They really need to add the ability to color code or add you know, a lot of us are very visual in terms of how we search.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And then we'll do one more question. And I saw one here. So if you were to use one of Canva's stock images that they have inside the platform, can you move those into your own folders, or can you just only get them there?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Cool.
And in fact, that's one of the things that I teach is about not just organizing your uploads, but actually creating a stock elements library of your own. So let me create a little design here. And I think the approach that a lot of people use is they star it. They just star they star templates that they like, but they also star any elements that they like to go back and find it. But then you end up with this big starred folder full of all kinds of things. And again, there's no sub organization in it. So again, bottomless pit. Let's go find, let's say, all right, let's say I really liked this pattern here and I wanted to build a patterns library. I am going to back up and go to here. I'm going to create a quick folder here. We're going to call it Elements Library. And then I'm just going to create inside of there, I'm going to say, let's create a folder for patterns. Okay, now that that's created, I'm going to just refresh this design. We'll go back to those elements again. And let's say I wanted this to be in there. So clicking on the three dots, you can click on star if you want it all to go into that bottomless pit, or you can add to folder. And because I just created those, they're in my recent. I'm going to add it to patterns. I'm going to add it to my folder. Nice. So what you're going to see is the next time I want to access that, let's say I want to add this one as well. So when I go looking for those next time, you're going to go to projects. Again, we're going to go find your custom folder. I've got my elements library right here, got my patterns, and now I have those two available right there. So you can build out your own library of them anytime you see something that you think you might want to use. Similarly, if you have stuff you've already used in the past and it's not in the actual elements library or in the stock library, if you hover over them, if you right click and go to info, you're going to be able to do the same thing. So if you've got elements that you've used in existing designs or you see them in templates and you'd like to grab them, you can do the same thing.
That is very cool. And everyone in the chat is mind blown. So that is amazing. Thank you so much. Everything you covered today was amazing. I was trying to write things down as you were speaking. It was so good. And I know everyone agrees. Everyone in the chat is very excited about everything. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll definitely have to collaborate again sometime. Everyone's like, part two. So definitely go follow Brenda on LinkedIn, check out her YouTube, her website, everything like that. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited. Awesome. All right. Oh, we have some people saying they've already subscribed to your YouTube channel. So we love that.
Thank you. That's another goal of mine for the year is very big goals. I'd like to get that to 25,000 this year, which is a long way from 3,000, but I think it's doable.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. You got this. But thank you so much for joining us. And thank you everyone for coming and sharing your questions and comments about everything. It was amazing. And I hope you all have an awesome rest of your day.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone. Bye.